Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Wednesday Night Express. Basic topic stuff, not basic topic, no topic. Nothing really went on today that I really wanted to dive into. No big information. We're just going to have a casual conversation. I don't know if I'm going to have a co-host. What you guys got to realize is that Brad is 3 hours difference from me on the East Coast, so it's not always a guarantee that he's up when I get going, but most of the time he is. So in that event, he just pops in. So no, there is no Peacemaker at midnight. I wish it was. That's what we will be watching. Not. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. We will be doing our Peacemaker watch party at the same time at 11:30. At the same time we do all of our other watch parties. So we will be watching that as soon as I'm available at 11:30. So tomorrow night. So. All right. For those of you who did not see the community page, Larry, we're doing Larry's movies this Friday. I think around 2 p.m. We're doing Warfare and we're doing Civil War. And I had that one spot open. Now I proposed if we met the goal of 200. I mean, not the 100 from the super chat, but the 200 in general from the PayPal link. That we would do Wicked and we would do Mystery Men. One movie hurts my ears. The other one literally is one of the worst movies I've ever laid my eyeballs off in Mystery Men. But to close out this chapter, am willing to do it. The link is at the top of the chat. And a portion of that is going to round out our AFSP fund. And the other half is going to go, or the other portion is going to go to upkeep of the channel, StreamYard, equipment, things like that. So if you would like to make me suffer this Friday, or the deadline is this Friday, then there is your link right there. I put it in the community page. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So here's the link to the post. Put that in the stream. There you go. Bam. And then I'll show it. Made a little graphic for it. There you go. It's the Mystery Men in the background, and in the foreground is the witches, whatever, from Wicked. So there you go. After this, like I said, once I keep having to push Larry's movies. That's why that's why we kept the window open. But once we get Larry's windows out the way, and then there's one more slot for one more realm of suffering, and this is my proposal. There you go. And there's a link. Hello, Duck. Yeah, no Peacemaker at 3 p.m. I saw at 3 a.m. I saw you post that, and I'm like, what? Watching Joker 2 is not bad if you fast forward past the singing. To me, it's just a lot of lost potential in that movie. They could have really, really expanded on what they started in the original movie, and they did none of that. So yeah, that movie lost me real quick. Yeah, I think you're reading it wrong, Rational, because I'm on HBO Max right now, and I checked just when I saw you post that, just to make sure, because that would have changed my whole night. I mean, I want to do. I wish they were doing it at midnight, but they don't want to do. I wish they were doing it on Sunday. To be honest with you, I don't like dropping shows like this in the middle of the week. Okie dokie. Yeah, let me look at this Max again. Yeah, HBO Max. I'll even bring it up for you guys. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Too many stupid functions on. There you go. Season 2 premieres at 6 p.m. Right there. Hello, Slipknot fans. What's going on? My go-to energy drink is Starbucks. I try to stay away from the energy drinks. I have one every now and then, but I try to stay away from the energy drinks because I know what they do to your insides. I mean, Starbucks isn't much better, but I can make I can make Starbucks a lot healthier or a lot less damaging to my soul and my body than I can an energy drink, which is, because I can cut down. I can put no shots in it. I can put sugar free, in it. I can put 2%. I can do a lot of things to make my daily Star Trek or Star. Wow, what the fuck? My daily Starbucks romp not too bad. Energy drinks are basically at battery acid with sugar, so yeah. Oh yeah, I'm certain the eye gets the sheep next to it. They actually showed it in the previews this time around. Yep, there it is. So yeah, no Peacemaker. Let's see, Final Destination. We're definitely not watching that. There you go. Yep, and as you can see, there is only there's only the one. What's trending on this show? Top 10. Let's switch to the top. Hard Knocks, Hunt for Love, The Yogurt Shop Murders. I've heard a lot about that. Killer Among Friends, The Guilty Days. Some of the shit I'm never watching. Mean Girl Murders. I don't care. I watched John Oliver. Top 10 movies. The Serial Killer's Apprentice, Final Destination. Ugh, fuck that movie. The House, The Legend of Uchi, Alien Covenant. Wow, where the hell did that come out of? Alien Covenant is number 6 amongst the movies. That's been out for quite a while now. A lot of it probably has to do with Alien Earth. There you go. Kung Fu Panda 2, Sinners is still up there. So there you go. Starbucks nice. I like their mochas. I like McDonald's espresso. So yeah, I got to treat myself better than McDonald's. All right. So what went on today? Anything would go on? At like I said, some of these shows I'm gonna have to restructure. I'm busy with a whole bunch of other stuff though, but I am gonna be restructuring the channel. I don't know if we're gonna stream every day. because there's just a lot of the times there's just really nothing to talk about unless I make a topic or put a topic together, like favorite, jump scares, things like that. And sometimes my brain just doesn't get around to making a topic like that. And anything beyond the live stream, just start putting the a little bit more work in than I have time for sometimes. Yeah, I got to catch up. I'm way behind on Strange New Worlds. Florence Pugh and rumored to appear as Elena in Spider-Man and Brand New Day. What the fuck's going on with this movie? I'm waiting for them to announce Spider-Man's going to be in it. What else went on today? Let's see. WrestlePalooza happening on the same day that All Out is happening. But yeah, WWE and their marks will tell you that AEW is of no significance to WWE. What else went on today? So, okay. Zack Snyder's newest movie, the last photographer, last photograph. Guess that's been announced. Let me bring up Twitter and see. This is a war movie. I'm partial to war movies. Like I said, the two Christopher Nolan, the two Christopher Nolan movies that I do like are both war movies. The last photograph. Let's bring this up. Have some fun with it. Oh, StreamYard is moving real fucking slow. Let's see. We go here. All right, so it's a war movie. Generally, when it comes to Zack Snyder, I prefer the superhero stuff. I know people try to call me less of a fan because I'm not interested in the UFC.
Well, I am.
I'm not interested in the UFC. I could give two fucks about the UFC. I think it's, to me, unless it's a big name that I've heard somewhere else, I don't give UFC 5 minutes. Usually it's a bunch of people I've never seen before, never heard of. I'm not into combat sports in that regard. I don't even watch as much boxing anymore because it's bored me. All UFC to me is the same thing with feet. So I have no interest in the UFC whatsoever. But war movies are I love war movies. If the, after science fiction, horror, fantasy, war movies are a genre that I will go to, even if I'm not a fan of your direction. I mean, like I said, Christopher Nolan, the two movies I like from him are war movies. Oppenheimer is a war movie. Dunkirk is one of the best war movies. So we got apparently this is not a project I paid a lot of attention to, and like I said, I'm guilty. I came to the dance for the superhero stuff. If I come to your coffee shop for coffee and you just bring me out water, what am I going to do? Good water, right? Water, perfect, clear water, but I came for coffee. So I can't really blame people who kind of move away. But it's a war movie, so let's take a look at this real quick. I have too many screens up. Here we go.
We actually did get a little bit of like Snyder superhero kind of news. I'll share in a little bit here after we go through this article.
All right, Zack Snyder finally directed his war drama, The Last Photograph. Oh, fuck, I'm not paying for Hollywood.
Okay. Now, I'm not fully clear on this, too, because, like, is this Horse Latitudes? I mean, because I was under the
impression... Once you mentioned Horse Latitudes, I kind of, my brain turned off. Because
it kind of said, I was, like, under my understanding was that, like, they were the same project. It's kind of like alternated titles. I
This is a
think,
better title. If this
yeah.
is Horse Latitudes, is I think of Horse Whisperer, and I'm like, never mind. Snyder is producing a creative partner and wife, Deborah Snyder, and Wesley Collar. I hope I pronounced it Collar via the Stone Quarry banner. Also producing will be Giada Nunari and the Hollywood Gang Production Company. The project, a war drama, will shoot at several locales around the globe, including Colombia, Iceland, and Los Angeles. Local companies will assist in the producing of the film's far-flung locations. Executive producers include the Spanish company Mediaset España, through its film production, RM Telesic. Goddamn, too late for all these words. All as well as William Doyle and Colombia's Jaguar Bite. That's a lot of production companies for one movie, which is run by Juan Pablo Solano and Simon Beltran. True North serves as the dude. Who is not producing this movie? Photograph
the Oppenheimer production company.
Yeah,
Or
Photograph.
the Odyssey, rather.
Yeah, Photograph is qualifying for Colombia's CNIA, a City Incentive Audiovisual Investment Certificate, which is a tax discount equivalent to 35% of the expenditure of audiovisual services in the country. Snyder also has his composer, of course, as well. Hans Zimmer, Steven Dorr, and Omar Benjamin. Hans Zimmer, you had me there. A longtime Snyder colleague, Kurt Johnstad, wrote the script after working with Snyder on 300, Rebel Moon. It's based on a story from Snyder. The story, according to the producers, is thus: an ex-DEA operative must return to the mountains of South America in an effort to find his missing niece and nephew following the brutal murders of their diplomat parents, enlisting the help of a washed-up junkie war photographer, the only person to have seen the face of the killers. He sets out determined to find the children and the truth, but soon learns he must also face the ghosts of his past. Their journey into the unknown takes them further and further away from civilization, bringing into question everything they believe while slowly eroding the distinction between real and surreal. So let's
It sounds
see.
almost like a murder mystery more so than a war movie.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that the environment was classifies it as a war movie, especially if they're talking about in South America, places like that, third world countries that are currently war torn. Snyder has several movie projects in development, among them an MMA slugfest titled Brawler and an action thriller centered around the LAPD. There you go. So that looks like fun.
Yeah, and about actually on that note, with some of those, there's been some reporting kind of on the LAPD movie. Through Tom MCJL kind of spoke about this. He actually spoke about something else I was alluding to a minute ago. But basically, that
is that the Netflix? Is that the Netflix? He posted another one that was the talking about the Netflix.
Yeah, that's the Netflix one where it's like basically they were having like a disagreement over budget, so that's kind of hit a bit of a roadblock at the moment. So that's gonna unless they kind of meet in the middle on what they want to do with the budget. Like apparently he wanted 100, they wanted to stop at 80. So it is what it is. And he also mentioned that, I mean, it's not Zach they're coming down specifically on this. Apparently they are trying to tighten their belts a little bit across the board at Netflix, but
which they do this shit every year. They do the same shit every year, and then they explode their budgets towards November and December. So I don't even know why they even flex like they're doing this. The shareholders are still there. They're still pulling in massive amounts of money a month. What are we cutting here? You're not cutting things like they spend money, but they have anchored products on there that, like I said, Stranger Things is about to hit in November. Your viewership's about to go up like a bunch. So I don't know. They do this every year though. But
yeah, but I mean the one that out of those three, the one that interests me the most, of course, is Brawlers. It's the MMA one. Of course, that whole piece, right? It's a fan casting on that, so that's the one out of those three I'm most interested to hear some news on.
That's the one, like I said, that no offense to anybody, I just don't care about the topic, and that's a big thing for me. If I don't care about the genre or the topic, I'm forcing myself to get into something. The only reason I would watch that is if Zack Snyder's film influence and vision is so overwhelming that that's like, dude, the slow-mos there, all the stuff there, and I'm like, let me watch this because I haven't seen too many of his things that I don't like. But as far as like, it's really hard for me to get into movies that cover things I just don't fucking care about. Sorry, Zach. Listen, I love you. Know I
Yeah.
love your movies. I don't care about MMA.
You know, you're gonna
don't
get
care about
lectured for
UFC.
being like not a real Zack Snyder fan.
Yeah,
but,
I
you
could
know,
give a fuck. I get paid the same.
I'm so
whether
tired
the
of that
critics,
holier than thou
I
attitude.
hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. Listen, I'm
Well,
full
because
disclosure.
it's so holier than thou. That's
Yeah.
the thing about that. That's really what bugs me about it. It's so holier than thou.
And then people, you hear people getting on their streams and saying, "Well, how come you don't, but you're not talking about this, you're not talking about that, you're not a real Snyder fan, you just want the cape shit." I'm like, well, yeah, I have no problem admitting that. That is what brought me to the party. That is why I like these movies. That is my preference. You can't really knock on somebody's preference. Like I've always said on this show, guys like Ridley Scott, guys like these guys have made movies outside of the genre that brought me to them, and they were a waste of my time. I will never ever watch This Thelma and Louise again. Never. I will never watch House of Gucci again.
I think you'd seen them at all. The way you talked about it.
I saw it because I thought it was Gaga. She was nominated. I wanted to see, if the performance, she was the best thing about. But so, like I said, so am I less a Michael Mann fan? If I don't, let's say for instance, I don't like Ali. Yeah, I do like Ali because it is Michael Mann's film. I mean, like I said, I'll give it a shot, and if there's certain distinctive values in there that I like out of every Zack Snyder movie, I'll give it a shot. But like I said, there's a difference between watching a movie because that director has done great work that you like, and being excited for a movie, because it's something like, okay, the topic and the subject of a movie is really important to me. He may make an Academy Award-winning level MMA movie. I'm not saying this is going to be a bad movie. Don't come at me that way. I'm just saying I don't care about the topic at all.
And like the war one, it's like I'm not too well. It's funny mentioning that too because there is one with Scott Adkins coming up, Prisoner of War, that I can't wait for. But that's a genre crossover. It has gone around. It's a martial arts flick during World War II. But of course, I mean, unless Zach's really keeping something hidden, that's not what the Last Photograph's going to be. I mean, I'm curious about it in the sense that it by his standards, it's going to be a very small scale. It's kind of thing. It's not going to involve and it's not going to involve like fantasy or sci-fi or anything like that. Which, of course, with what he's known for, that's definitely him stepping out. And kudos to him, stepping out of his kind of his comfort zone with that. But but yeah, I mean, it's the subject matter. Yeah, it does not inherently pull me in.
Yeah, and that's important. The subject matter is, like I said, it might be more important to me than a director, depending on who the director is. Like Denis Villeneuve, I mean, like I said, I will give, if he were to do an outside the genre movie, I will give it a shot. But I'm probably not going to, do anything beyond that because, I think there are certain genres that bring out the most. That's not saying he can't make a brilliant one. And I always say, don't say because somebody does a specific genre that they cannot do anything else. I don't think there's a genre Zack Snyder could not do and could not do great. That's not going to change the fact that if it's a subject matter I don't care about, such as MMA or UFC, then it's going to be like I'm only there to see the filmmaking style. I'm only there to see the signature, and I don't know if that's enough for me at this point in my movie going, lifetime, but 9 times out of 10 I'll probably watch it anyway because I do enjoy the stuff he puts out. But as soon as I watch it, I'm going to go back to BBS. I'm going to go back to ZSGL. I'm going to go back to the things that really, in my opinion, bring out the best in that particular director.
Yeah, in his case, I do think that the cave shit really kind of brings out the best. Well, that and the action too was I'd say, and that's part of why I'm so excited. Looking forward to Brawler because you see it consistently in his body of work. Like Zach, he definitely appreciates a fight scene as as much as I do. So, and of course, it's kind of hard to do an MMA movie with that not being very much a focal point of it.
Well,
so.
yeah, it's a fight movie. Like I said, now here's the thing though. That's not a Zack Snyder thing. That's not even a UFC thing. That's a me thing. If I liked MMA, I'd be all amped up for this. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's do it. I probably will watch more MMA movies, any MMA movie, but I'm not into it. When it comes up on SportsCenter, I grab my magic wand and I turn it. If I'm watching ESPN and the next thing is it's MMA, I turn it. I don't hate it, and I don't hate you all that watch it. I just I gave it a shot. And it just didn't do anything for me. It just was like, and some of the fighting styles that I tried to give a shot, some of those are like, dude, am I going to be able to stay awake for this? Go, because it's only 3 to 5 rounds. Okay. But it's like, I don't, but like I said, there are certain stars, that will wrestle, or not wrestle, but will be on there. Like when I was, when, what's the guy's name that tapped out Brock Lesnar, when Brock Lesnar was one, who beat Brock Lesnar. I was watching that, but I was only watching that match because I was watching Brock Lesnar as Frank Mir or something like that, or where he beat one of them. When Ken Shamrock was on there, I was watching, or Conor McGregor was watching that. But if it's any of these mid to no name guys, no offense to you mid to no name guys, I don't know who you are. You're not marketable to me. I don't, I'm just not watching. I'm just not watching. So
well, now kind of a little bit related. Now this is kind of.
Oh, hold on, real quick. Yeah, we're gonna get a light monsoon. They keep moving those rain dates, but like I said, I'm ready for it. The weatherman seems depressed that we're not getting flooded like Noah's Ark, and I'm like, dude, go fuck yourself, man. We're not set up. We really weren't set up for the monsoons we get. So this little diet monsoon we're getting, I'm fine with it. I just need it to be over. Get me to the cold, dry autumn. That's where I want to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready to get there too. But yeah, this kind of goes back to the Cape shit. And actually, I'm kind of curious your thoughts on this too, because this might also kind of fall under the data topic. Yeah, I'm definitely with you, Aaron. Definitely with you. Oh yeah, I was about to pull that one up too from Rhea Frankenstein getting. Yeah, I saw it getting theatrical. Didn't see it getting a physical media, but okay, awesome for that.
Okay, time out. I need this to stop.
Well, if Netflix, if they're doing it, I mean, it's like they decide to do it.
Every time Netflix comes out with something with big, this is not aimed towards you, Red, but I've seen this all over it. And I even respond. I did one of the things I did like 5 times a year, and I responded to somebody on Twitter when they're like, well, that shows Netflix that they need to put it in the theaters. Netflix's main goal is subscribers. Why the fuck would they send you anywhere else but to their subscription service to see their movies? The only reason that they're doing this for Frankenstein, let me take Ray off the screen because I don't want to seem like an alien. The only reason that they're putting Frankenstein in a limited release is because they think it could win awards. That's it. There is no reason for, other than awards, for Netflix to do physical media or put movies in the theaters. I see this all over, and I see this on like highly respected streams that I watch. And it's like this is a travesty that Netflix is not putting in the theater. Why would they change their business? That is their business model. You're literally asking them not to be Netflix. Netflix does not fucking care about the box office. They don't care about the cinema. Outside of, hey, can this win an Academy Award or something like that? They don't care. They're just a subscriber. If I have a service that requires you to come to me, why would I send you anywhere else in mass numbers? I don't understand why people would think that Netflix should automatically turn into something that is not them and go from something that has literally been the blueprint of streaming. I could see other streamers. I could see Warner Brothers. I could see Peacock, Paramount, because they are studios as well as that kind of platform. But Netflix that's it. The Netflix studio exists to make things for the Netflix platform to bring you to Netflix. Why would they send you anywhere else? I never understood this. Now, and when they brought up the Frankenstein thing, I saw some couple posts. Well, that's finally Netflix is starting. No, they're not. They want to be in the mention for awards. That's it. It makes no sense for Netflix to send you anywhere else but them to watch their stuff. And physical media, if they do physical media, I need to find out what's going on there. I mean, you're literally, that's giving someone a reason not to come and log into your subscription service. That makes no sense to me. Everybody else that has a studio/streamer, got it. Understand. I understand that. And even they're only doing it for 35 days, whatever. But Netflix does not not like those guys. Netflix, that is the game. Bringing you to Netflix is the game. I don't understand why, this is crazy. All right. So, yeah, that wasn't towards you. I almost called you Aaron. I almost did a Brad and called you the wrong person. But no, I
don't
heard
confuse
this.
my sister or anybody else.
Yeah, because, well, apparently if you have a sister that is not her and you can't,
Yeah.
But no, I just don't, I'm in general, I don't understand why people expect Netflix to not be Netflix. I don't get it. Chat, what do you guys think? What do you am I being unreasonable to think that they should change their cash cow into something else? I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well now, I'm going back to this topic.
Boy,
I'm on my laptop. Okay, at this point, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. It's like I'm on my laptop. What do you want me to do?
The tower, plug the tower and have them both set up.
It's a StreamYard thing. It's like, again, I don't know what else to do here. It's like I am not on my PC. I'm on my laptop. What do you want me to do?
I took the tower up.
Okay. Anyway. So we got this bit of news here, some DC film news, and Tom also talked about it too. James Gunn and Zack Snyder's Justice League were listed on Fortnite's August 2025 survey for possible skins. Now, what that basically means, and now I've never really played Fortnite. My nephew's big into it, and actually Zach himself said he's kind of a Fortnite addict. I actually kind of joked when I heard that. I was like, I wonder if he's bumped into my nephew on there. But basically, Fortnite, pretty popular online game, and they actually also have Rebel Moon Bloodlines too. That's been done by the same studio, Epic Games, and so we might get some skins potentially from this, from Zach's version of Justice League, added into Fortnite. So, I'll go and pull up the list of too where it talks about that. So I gotta close this one out.
Yeah, it's wild and unneeded, Rhea, but we're getting it.
So, all right. So Fortnite, August 25. It's got. So basically, the latest Fortnite survey from August 25 is leaked online, showcasing an eye-catching list of franchises, characters, and even celebrities, and apparently James Gunn is one of them. The Epic Games is reporting considering for future collaborations. So now, does anybody in the because again, I'm not really on Fortnite, so does anybody in the chat maybe can kind of spell that out a little bit more for everybody here tonight? But yeah, as you can see, like Zack Snyder Justice League is one of them, and under celebrities, probably James Gunn's right there too. So that's again, he said he's a big fan of it. And of course, we've got a Rebel Moon tied into that as well. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, again, this is for a movie that I'm old enough to remember. We were told constantly didn't exist, and here we are. It's potentially being added into an insanely popular video game franchise. So I don't know. William, you got any thoughts on this?
I'm not a gamer. I know of Fortnite and I know how popular the skins are. I mean, as far as a measurable goes, I guess you can measure the amount of times people use Zack Snyder's characters as to get as a gauge. Is just put one more thing on the board for you when somewhere down the line, whether it be months or years down the line, when you're making your justifications to do anything with that franchise, this could be something that's in there for you. I don't know how much. I
know enough
who make the decisions would I know correlate that too. So
I know enough about Fortnite to know it's crazy popular. And like I said, my nephew's he's playing it constantly. That's why I joked when Zach said he's really into Fortnite. I thought, he's probably bumped into my nephew on there and not even realized it plenty of times. So, but yeah, it's kind of and now the thing I'm not clear on about that, like if they're using Gunn's likeness for again, these are like potential skins that they could add into Fortnite. So I none of this is like confirmed yet. But like with Guns, I'm assuming like they would need his permission to use his likeness, right?
Yeah, he probably automatically signed off
now.
On it.
So with Justice League, now that's slightly different because that's using movie characters. So I'm assuming would need to go to Warner Brothers for that. Would they need to go to Zach? Would they need to like run that by him at all?
No. Those characters wholly belong to Warner Brothers.
Okay, but that's again. That's
if they were going to use Zack Snyder himself, then they would need his permission.
Which again, with how many times he's been animated now, I could see that happening. but that's not in the list here. But yeah, this of course has kind of made a little bit of a splash day. I thought, okay, it's Aaron, a little bit of a patriotic pride, Steve Irwin. I didn't even see that. Steve Irwin, that's gonna be You know who else? You know who else they should have in there, Aaron? They should have Brent Foster in there. They definitely should.
Okay. Probably not Rhea.
Rhea.
What he probably negotiated, because this is not a theatrical run. This is a limited. This is not a watch day. It's a limited. And when you have an Academy Award-winning director, when you have an Academy Award-winning director, you probably gave him that option to have enough release to get. You only have to be released in not very many theaters to be considered. Right? And all Netflix has to do is the bare minimum so that he can qualify.
Yeah.
If you're going to have an Academy Award-winning director, allow him to qualify his movie. That's it. But as far as putting it like on wide release, that would be stupid for Netflix to do.
So here,
and let me go down to here and flip it. Okay. It doesn't matter. That is not the business they are in. If you come to my comic book store looking for the Wall Street Journal, so fucking what? That is not the business I'm in. Do you not understand that is not what Netflix does? That is not where they make their money. And it's counter to what they do to send someone else somewhere else to give away 35% of their money. And
where does it say?
The studio, which is Netflix, has to pay for the advertising for that movie because the box offices will not take that movie without it being advertised.
Like Ray, because I have seen, I have the Wikipedia page up right now, and it lays out here. Frankenstein will have its world premiere in the main competition of the 82nd Venice International Film Festival on August 30th, followed by a limited theatrical release on October 17th, 2025, and a global release by Netflix on November 7th, 2025.
Which means that theatrical release is going to be about as big as my backyard. It's probably just going to qualify because they want you there in 3 weeks to watch it on their platform. That's the point of Netflix. They are not looking at this from the cinephile who likes to kick back in the theater. They're looking from this as a business point of view. They're giving Del Toro, an Academy Award-winning director, a shot, because if this movie is as good as I've heard, then he has a shot at another Best Director award.
Ooh, it's pretty long, too. It's 149 minutes.
So, I mean, like I said, I like going to the theaters to watch movies. Don't get me wrong. But why are people pushing Netflix to not be Netflix? I never got that. I never understood that. But no, it's not about Netflix folding. It's about, that's probably, if I'm Del Toro, I negotiate that shit into the contract. We're definitely getting some type of release so that he qualifies for an Academy Award. Why not? I don't have an alter ego. I just, once again, nobody's giving me, you guys can snipe at me and then I can have fun with it. I'm asking a serious question now, and I'm being very serious here now. I'm not joking. Why would Netflix do that? If you truly understand Netflix's business model and you truly understand what is the attraction to that business model, why would they do that on any significant scale? And why would they do that on any regular basis? That's a serious question. That's not a joke question. That's not a question that you guys make dumb comments and in the chat. You do that anyway. But seriously, if the Netflix business model, the established business model, which has not changed, is that, why would they do anything beyond just basically a very limited release, which means some festivals, a couple places in some major cities, maybe the Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, and that's it. 3 weeks later, if they want you, and I know people will make the argument, well, if it's, and I've seen it work, where if it's in the theaters, then it'll have a higher prestige. But Netflix has never needed that to make their money. Now, HBO with Warner Brothers and Universal, yeah, because they are recycling. They are bringing movies to the theater, putting them on their streaming service, giving you that prestige and keeping that relationship with the box office. Netflix is no such model that way. So I could see why they would do it. I don't see why Netflix would. That's a serious question. Serious answers only.
Let's see. Okay. What's with the aggression, dude? I'm just bringing up that I think it's cool that his characters are making it to Fortnite potentially.
And what's with the all caps? You don't think, even if Brad didn't know that, did you really need to type that in all caps? Don't you think I know who owns DC characters?
Yeah, I all I said was that it's like would Zach be like an intermediary, and that's like since it's gonna be Warner Brothers owns DC, but since it's Zach's movie, are they going to knock on his door at all?
Socratic fanatic. Listen, I'm a very flexible guy. As you see in the environment that you're allowed to be in every night without being deleted or banned, you're testing my patience. And when I say you're testing my patience, given the format of this show, you're on thin ice.
Yeah.
You're on thin ice right now. And you look down at that ice. I have no problem with allowing everybody in this chat to say their piece. But don't waste my time. Don't waste my co-host time. Don't waste my chat time. If you're going to contribute, contribute. All right. What else we got here?
Again, it wasn't like earth-shattering news. I mean, I just thought, oh, this is again part of why I enjoyed seeing this is again this 7 years ago, 6 years ago we were talking. I mean, again, the party line was this movie doesn't exist, and now it's like potentially finding its way into a really popular video game.
It's folklore, and like I said, just I'll at this point, you just need the right people to for the clue. Oh, okay.
Oh, do you want to back up?
No. I was as mad as William for not. Like I said, dude, if Netflix says, you know what, fuck it, we're going full theatrical model. This is what we're gonna do. Then that's cool. That means their stockholders on board with it. That means their investors are on board with it. That means Ted Sarandos, all those cats are on board with it, and then that's a different thing. But I get no indication, and they would have to do it on a scale that's just not worth it to them.
Did they show any? Because you guys, there was the panel for it at Comic-Con. Did you see any footage
From
Frankenstein?
I was not. No, he was at Rhea was at the Lucas one where he was actually hosting it. He was actually there, or by him and I didn't see any footage from Frankenstein, but I didn't go to all the panels either. Though there might have been a non-Hall H panel that I missed.
I mean, I would think that if there had been, it probably would have leaked by now, or would have been officially released by now. But it's like, I mean, it's getting close to the Venice premiere, so I would think we're in that. And then October is when it has the theater run. So we're going to be getting that trailer like probably within the next 2-3 weeks, if that.
No, I promoted Netflix stuff at my store that doesn't hit theaters or has a slight theatrical run. We promoted Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon had you were with me. It had a very limited theatrical run.
Yeah, more limited than Army of the Dead because I didn't get to see Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I promoted. I promoted. I still have posters at the store for Army of the Dead. For Army of the Dead, even that had a limited run. The primary focus for both of those events, though, were Netflix and for you to watch it on Netflix. I don't have a problem promoting. We'll probably promote Frankenstein because they have gotten into the business of hiring agencies to promote because they want you to watch their streaming platform. I don't. And my tune won't change at all. No,
it's also Frankenstein too. So I mean, that's like it's a it's a character and a literary. It has the literary background, and the character background is such that I don't think this strikes me as something that Del Toro, like, you didn't have to argue too terribly hard to persuade them to do a theater run.
Yeah, but it's not a theater run. A theater run is actually like, 4,000 type theaters, like that. This is a limited. This is like a really limited game, and they're probably going to meet the threshold to get it up there for Golden Globes and Oscars, and those type of awards. And because, like I said, 3 weeks later, it makes no sense for them to do anything beyond that. And 3 weeks later, they're going to have it on their primary money maker.
And I just realized this too. I could probably guess a screener for that from Netflix.
Here's another thing. You're basically trying to use my words against me, which is hilarious, Worth. You got to pay attention to my words if you're going to do that. No one has to be in that room. You just have to have two eyes and understand what Netflix has done. How much revenue does Netflix pull from physical media? Let me see if I can Google it. Given that is not something that they were really friendly with.
And by the way, Ray confirmed, yeah, there was no footage shown at the panel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How much revenue does Netflix generate via physical media? Netflix no longer generates revenue via physical media, having they discontinued their own mail-in rental. Well, I even thought they had it up to 2023. Let's see. Wow, 31 billion. Go ahead.
I don't know if Aaron says, I don't know if Frankenstein will be out in the cinemas here in Australia, most likely. Yeah, whatever theatrical capacity, it's almost certainly in the localized stateside. So
LA, New York, Chicago, maybe.
I mean, we might get it here. It's like, because I've had
Georgia, maybe Atlanta.
They had because again, like I said, Army of the Dead. They had that here. That year, Army of the Dead and Red Notice. I both saw those in the Pooler Theater before they came on Netflix, and I didn't see The Irishman in the theater, but it was it did have it was in theaters here.
Like a blink, they blinked, and it was in there. Because once again, they wanted all those people involved, like everybody in that movie had a statue. So I don't understand Netflix and Guillermo del Toro agreed that this is where it stands. Also, they aren't only. What do you? Okay, I don't understand. Netflix and Guillermo agreed, and that's where it stands. What do you? I don't. Did I miss? Oh yeah. No, I'm not hurt. I get $0. I get the same $0, whether it streams on Netflix exclusively as it does. My question, though, and this is like I said, nobody's been able to answer that question, is because I always see Netflix being criticized for not putting these movies in wide release theaters, and my legitimate question, it's not hurt. Listen to what I'm asking you guys and give a shot at answering the question. Why would they do that? Limited theatrical release is one thing. That's just for award series. But I'm talking about every time Netflix does something with high profile actors and directors, they seem to get shit thrown at them for not putting it in wide release theaters. And I'm like, why would they do that? So I don't understand. Guillermo agreed that it stands. Also, they aren't the only streaming service that done putting film in the theater. I just explained that before. They're the only streaming service that streaming is the priority, is the thing that they sell. They are not HBO Max that has a studio that caters to the movie theaters. They're not Peacock that has Universal that has a studio that caters to box office. So you can't compare them to everyone else because they have that distinction of not having that be anywhere near their primary moneymaker. See what I mean? Yeah, that was fun. That fucking pretzel was huge, man. That fucking pretzel was huge.
Like the size of my head.
I measured it on the thing because I have big hands and I didn't want to put it up to my head because I have a big head. But my hands are pretty big, and that pretzel, I couldn't even grab it. William, it's actually cool. These streaming services will do limited theatrical release for their own film, but people can see it at home. And there's other okay. And then there's the others that are big fans. Yeah, and like I said, but it's just like we're in Roadhouse. When that guy threw up with the director Lyman, he made all that noise. Yeah, Doug Lyman made up that rules. I'm like, dude. It's Amazon. Amazon wants you coming to Amazon. Yeah, they got Universal, and they have Universal to do things like that. But for a movie they directly commission or purchase to put on their service, that's they want you on there with the pots and the pans and whatever else that your demographic. Because trust me, when you go to watch Roadhouse, they're getting everything about you. If everything, they might ask for your blood type. They might send something for a saliva test. They want to know everything about you. They want to know your trends, and they can get all that while you're watching Jake Gyllenhaal fight what's his face. They're getting all that information because that's their business model. Here's the thing, though. Some of these big name guys are going to. Not everybody is going to work that into their contract. Now you got like if you're Academy Award winners like your Scorsese's and your you know, not even Nolan because Nolan doesn't do streaming, but your the Toros are probably going, and that's probably why you want them on your streaming service, because they're Academy Award winners. They're automatically, their agents are going to be like, yeah, we want this on some level of big screen because we want more statues and because more Academy Awards. Now you're talking about 2-time Academy Award winner so and so. So yeah, they're going to work that. But as far as like Netflix purposes, because you're talking about now adding overhead to Netflix expenses that they're just not designed for. Because once again, if you put a movie into mass release, anything beyond just a limited engagement to qualify, you have to pay for the advertising budget. You have to give up the 35% of the overall gross. You have to become the distributor and take the risk. As the studio, you take on that risk. When your other business model is we make it, we skip all that. If we put it in limited release and keep it below a certain amount of numbers, we don't have to, you know, commit to a huge, you know, 100 million. So if you spent 75, 80 million, you spent 150 million on your movie, right? Minimum low bar that the box office is going to want, because they don't want you to have a dud that nobody knows about coming in their box office. So you're talking about another 15 to 20 million minimum. So you're adding another 25 million. And then when it hits the box office, diminishing returns, because 35% goes to them. It just doesn't, for a studio, I got it. For a studio that is Warner Brothers, a hybrid, let's say a hybrid, because Netflix is a studio. For a combination or a hybrid, I understand, no problem. But for somebody whose primary moneymaker is not that, and that's not part of their overhead, I don't understand why anybody would expect them to do it. Be pleased and surprised and happy when they do, but it should be no expectation. And I don't think they should draw criticism for it, to be honest with you. I saw it on Netflix. I actually got a screener for that.
Yeah, I actually saw it in the theater before I saw it on Netflix, like a week before it went on Netflix, which is why it's like, I thought of that theater I saw it, they would Rebel Moon to be out there soon, but I couldn't even get a screener for Rebel Moon either. They were really, really tight. They did not want to, for whatever reason, they just really played it tight with the Rebel Moon screeners.
I was surprised when I got an invite to go see Rebel Moon in the theaters. I was surprised because I had said a week before, we're probably not going to get a screening. I'll ask, but we're probably not going to get a screening, because it's like, you know, it didn't make any sense. I didn't think they would be spending the money, because they really cut their costs when they made Rebel Moon. They made Rebel Moon for a bargain. So now you're circumventing that bargain by putting it in, you know, the theater, because once again, more overhead. Now it wasn't a wide release. It was only like that one night. So under that one night, you don't really have to, you know, throw millions of dollars in advertising. So, you know. They haven't really done physical releases for their original shows, movies in a while. Stranger Things season 1 and 2 on 4K, Blu-ray, and that's special. And I think Squid Games did it. But yeah, they did skip season 3 and 4. And season 4 was epic. Why? Because if it's that good, they want you coming to that. They want you coming. Apple TV does theater-wide releases, even though their main goal is to get you to their ecosystem products. They do, but not as often as a normal studio, though. What they do it, and their CEO Tim Cook not Tim Cook. I'm sorry. What's the guy? Because they asked him why this. I'm drawing a blank. It's 1 o'clock, near 1 o'clock. Their strategy is to bring you back to their technology. So when these movies get redistributed on their streaming service, it's exclusively Apple that they're trying to get you to favor. They want you on Apple TV. They want you when you're back on their thing, when they draw you back into it from the theater back in, they have equipment that they want. They have an iPhone that they want to push towards you. They have an iWatch they want to push towards you. They have programming that they want to push towards you. Netflix is no such thing. What Netflix sells is the movie. is the show. There are no Netflix phones. There are no Netflix watches. There are no Netflix goggles. You see what I mean? So when you have somebody that has something to sell, even Amazon could do wide release if they want to, but but their expenditure on that is justified because it rolls you back into things that are beyond the movie. So they don't have to make Apple and Amazon don't have to make dollar per dollar back on their movie. If they get that traffic back to where they want you to be, which is where they make their money. Hold on. So say for instance, Apple and Amazon spend 200 million or something like that. So now a studio, we're all sweating in box office. Oh, they got to make this or they're going to break even. They're going to be in a poorhouse. They're not thinking about that. That was an investment. So when they bring it back home, now I'm on Amazon.com, which is a win for them. It's the most important thing to them. Now I'm on Apple, even if I'm watching it from just their programming and not from a fucking iPhone or anything else, that still puts me in front of their product. So it's a big difference between Apple and those projects. And that Netflix, like I said, the one thing Netflix that makes them exclusive from any of those is everybody else has something to sell. Everybody else has a secondary revenue source, and in some cases, third and fourth and fifth. If you're Disney, it's the parks. Netflix is Netflix. The movies, the entertainment, the library, that's what they have to sell. And sending you somewhere else for that is just, I think it's counterproductive, and I think there's a reason why they haven't done it very often. Yeah, Toronto. I don't know. The TIFF's already over, right? TIFF, Toronto Film Festival. I know Wonder Meg goes to that. Wonder Meg has become. By the way, shout out to Wonder Meg. You're doing great. I don't think you watch my show, but that's fine. You're doing great as a film critic.
I mean, she might have had something to do with, when somebody retweeted our AFSP drive. Just saying. But no, she. I don't think that. I don't think it's actually started yet. And by the way, Meg, if you're watching, if you're going to that Wonder Meg, it's let me just say how. I'm looking at the dates here right now on festival. This is here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be from the 4th to the 14th. So it hasn't started yet. It's going to be next month. But Meg, if you get to the Toronto International Film Festival and you don't take advantage of seeing The Furious there when I can't, I'm gonna wring your little neck.
Also, maybe Netflix feels that they need to go to physical media. They don't, and they're not. I mean, there's been no evidence of that. And theatrical releases, they are publicly traded. Yeah, the people who buy Netflix stocks understand the Netflix business model. If I'm a Netflix stockholder and you start doing some out of bounds shit that's not stable, then I might sell my stock. That's not a good thing. They can only acquire so many subscribers before they hit a ceiling and start. Did you have a second losing stock? No, that's not the way stock is going to work with them. Because once you start, if I'm a stockholder in Netflix personally, once you start spending money on something that's not going to make you the gain that much more for you than your primary source, I bought your stock based on your business model. If you go shaking shit up and spending more money and spending more of our dollars on things that are not your primary things, and you're getting diminishing returns, stock is not going to go up. It's going to go down because that's considered wasteful spending. Let's see. Warner Brothers, I believe, is a distributor for all their movies.
Well, I was bringing that up because that was like a collaboration with Apple TV, I think.
Yeah, see, and that's even a better deal for because it's less liability for them. Everybody made out. But yeah, once you get into distribution, yes, you can make a lot of money, but you could also joker too. See, it is, you know. Dude, get your mind out of these places for. Oh my goodness. By the way, Meg, guys, you can say a woman is attractive without and watch their content without lusting over them. There are a lot of content creators that let's be honest with you, are not hard on the eyes like me. You know, not everybody looks like a slee stack. You can acknowledge that and still be watching their content because you like their content too. Heaven forbid that happen. Have you heard about this? Netflix just got real. Netflix house is opening in Philadelphia and Dallas at the end of 2025. Yeah, we've they've shown the models and stuff here in Vegas that where they're going to be doing it at. But a lot of that, to be honest with you, is I'm wondering what are they going to? They'll probably be selling Netflix branded stuff there, and they'll probably be honest with you. I'm wondering if, and I got to look this up because I haven't looked at the story since it came out. Is who are they partnering up with? Is it Netflix? Is it entirely their investment, or is it like a licensing deal where the Netflix likeness isn't on there and they're the ones getting paid? That would be amazing. All right, I gotta meet you. All right, let's see. You have to be smart about what you're doing it in, though. It has to be generally you want it to be consistent with what is growing for you. You know, but you don't have any evidence because Netflix doesn't do a lot of it, and rightfully so, given their business model. You have no evidence that type of investment is going to net you the type of return to make it worthwhile. And once you start getting into that playground, you start taking on expenses and liabilities that hell, look at the people who are studios first we're having issues. Prior to Warner Brothers going on their little streak that they went on to, look what they were going through before. And they are a primary studio. They prioritize the box office. And look what they were going through. And they're set up to absorb that overhead. So maybe I'm not saying Netflix could not turn the corner and say, you know what, I've seen no evidence of it, and this Frankenstein thing would be more because, like I said, it's going to get limited. It's going to get released enough in places to where it can get considered for awards. But 3 weeks later, like I said, if I know I'm releasing something 3 weeks later, and my primary moneymaker is streaming, it ain't going to be on a big screen for very long. Here, Benicio, congratulations. You're going to get nominated. Put that shit back on Netflix. That's where we make our money. That's where we're paying. I mean, it's just like that. And these directors, most of these directors, sign up. Will sign up for that. But everybody will win. Now, if I'm Netflix and I wanted to start doing that, they're going to have to make some deals to where they're not eating the risk. You don't want to be eating like Lionsgate. Do you want to be Lionsgate? Put out a good movie and have it contributed to a $94 million loss. Now, if I'm a Netflix stockholder and you start doing that, I start selling my stock. Stay within your wheelhouse. Do what you do. Be Netflix. That's really all a stockholder can really ask. Stability. All the streamers are going to top out. But the primary goal, and I say this over and over again because everybody's like, growth. Growth is great. Growth is great. Retention is everything. Being able to go back to your stockholders and your financiers and said, we didn't grow 10%, but guess what? That same pile of money that you expect every month is still there and it's still solid. And we had a little bit of growth. But the other direction is when people start panicking. Stability breeds money. Instability, jumping all over the place. Warner Brothers, $8 here, $11 here, $7 here, $14 here. People selling off, people buying garbage stock just to mend it with something else. That's the kind of stuff that keeps your stock. Where is Warner Brothers stock, by the way? Oh, look that shit up. WBD stock. $11.54. So yeah, if I'm Netflix, I do Netflix. What's Netflix stock at? Netflix stock. There. Okay. $1,213.86 a share. I think Netflix just should stick to what Netflix is doing. I think they've made the right decisions. Yep, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Start. I mean, for those of you who want to watch it with us, I will be doing my watch party at 11:30, and gonna have some fun with it. All right, so 11:30. All right. If Hulu is the reason that it's being delayed, may need to shop it to another studio or streaming service. What's this? Oh, Hellraiser? Oh. Yeah, I haven't heard too much about the new stuff. No, they raised their prices because they produced more content. The topping out of subscribers, and they added ad tiers and stuff like that. That's not the reason why you would increase your prices. There's other reasons. I think the cost of running business, but still, even if you had to do that, let's say for argument's sake you had to do that, that doesn't change the fact that you have a stable revenue source, and you can't wreck your business model just looking for the bigger steak all the time. If there's no steak out there, your best bet is to stay doing what you do. You see the numbers for the stream, highest 13%, and HBO Max has been last for 6 months. What particular stream are you talking about, Antonio? You see those numbers for the stream, the highest was 13.5%, and HBO Max has been last for the last 6 months. I don't understand the thing, but apparently illegal downloading. I don't know if piracy, because piracy didn't hurt Game of Thrones. They bragged about piracy in Game of Thrones. Oh, you're not watching Peacemaker? All right, well, we'll let you know. Yeah, at 300 million subscribers, more subscribers than any other service, I believe. And I'm like by a lot. They're fine. As for the depth, Dante, the depth and amount of shows, I really like Amazon Prime the best. Yeah, Amazon Prime has really done a good job. Cool. Yeah, I will be here doing the watch along. HBO Max was supposed to make a Hellraiser series with Clive Barker producing the first 2 episodes, directed by David Gordon Green. I think that's going to be what these things are. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with a Netflix. I mean, Stranger Things stuff, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Or a Netflix shirt. But what's craziest Warner Brothers is at 5 million behind Disney subscribers. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I think it's because they're combining. I don't know if they're combining all their platforms like HBO, man. I don't know how they're doing, but yeah, I mean, dude, for me personally, and I've said this no matter who's running the company, HBO Max or Max, whatever the fuck it was, it has the most stuff on it that I watch. I watch HBO Max more than I watch any other streaming service, so I can see why they would be closing in. HBO Max is really that good. I love it. The original shows are good, but there are not a whole lot of them. But there's also a lot. But once again, and that's how they're creeping up on them. It's not just HBO Max; it's HBO proper that they're probably bundling into that number. And HBO proper does have a lot of great series. Yeah. The last movie he was in literally 2 minutes of the last movie. He was not in any of that last movie, and that last movie was great. I would have loved for Tony, Todd to live for another 30 or 40 years. But I think the Candyland mythology if handled properly. See, here's the thing about when they did the Candyland. Did I say Candyland? I said Candyman. When they did, I'm thinking of fucking the Django. It's always be a Candyland. The Candyman movie that they just did not rely heavily on nostalgia or the elements that Tony Todd necessarily bought. The likenesses of the Candyman, the hook, the coat, the bees, that stuff, yes. But as far as they made it their own, they didn't rely so heavily on Tony Todd. They didn't try to redo Tony Todd. So that movie worked. And then when you brought him in at the end, when it's like, tell everyone, sorry, spoiler alert, that was a nod to the history, but they set up the story. You saw how many Candyman were in there and how the mythology was passed on. So they set themselves up for something good. I would say yes, they could definitely do it without him. I tell you, I agree here. I think they're the best platform, and that's man. If they see how good they could be if they weren't mismanaged, because the royalties or the people that were acting in those, they're still getting paid in Westworld. Seasons 3 and 4, I'm sorry, I love that show, but season 4 was hard to get through. I got through season 4 because I felt obligated to finish the story. And then when people were upset that, it got canceled, if you were closely watching Westworld, you realized the story was over. There didn't need to be any other Westworld after that last episode. And it took a lot of labor to get to that part of it. So if there's not a lot of people watching it, I understand it. Dandy Newton, people, all those people that are some of those names are pretty big, that are high dollar actors, are still getting paid for it to sit on a streaming service if nobody is watching those seasons of the show. It sucks because I love that show, but that last season was not good in my opinion. Candyland. I don't know why I'm thinking. Now I got Samuel L. Jackson. This is Candyland. We've been here for 150 years. Always going to be here. As Jamie Foxx is walking out of Candyland as it burns down to the ground, and you can hear him screaming, "We gonna find your black ass!" I mean, it was, dude. I there's the only movie where I wanted to choke Samuel L. Jackson. I just wanted to grab him by his ears and yank them off of his head. He was so good in that role, especially in that end scene where he tries to get out of there. Oh, I love that movie. I have every intention of and that movie was a hit too. And nobody knew Tony Todd was going to be in it because I was at a pre-screening. They did not let anybody know. In fact, if I'm not correct, I don't believe that Tony Todd was in the credits and when they were previewing, when they had it on, when they listed the thing. I think that was a surprise for a lot of people. Hello, Larry. What's going on?
Yeah. There's a hurricane in the Gulf right now called Hurricane Aaron. They named it after my sis because they know it's like
she's name is not
because she is a force of nature.
Yeah, what's your real sister's name?
Her enemy is like she will destroy any of her paths. So that's exactly why.
Whatever it is. Okay. All right, so I let everybody know for I got here the last spot because Larry's movie is Larry. Now that you're here, this Friday, not Saturday, it's Friday. We're doing your movies that you contributed for, and the last slot. You guys can come up with something, but I put on our community page post that I am proposing the worst superhero movie ever made in Mystery Men, and then a movie that I have no use for in Wicked. Somebody proposed that the other night. I'm like, okay, we'll do it. If we reach our number, we'll do it. I will sit to
Aaron's
those.
It could be torn on that. Definitely.
So the link
Men or Wicked.
The one of them is an unwatchable movie. The other one is just an unlistenable movie. Mystery Men sucks.
No, I need that Blue Raja origin story.
No,
pronto.
Why? So they can lose another $150 million off of the movie that nobody saw.
It's a cult.
People keep asking me, like, "What are they going to do? A Mystery Men sequel?" I'm like, "Are you serious?
If it came out today, it would have made $100 million more easy.
Bomb.
No.
It would get people Howard the Duck.
It would have beat the boys.
You would have people.
Yeah,
bullshit. You're out of your mind. You'd have people
exactly.
fighting each
Meet
other.
the boys.
You would have
They
people
came out for
fighting each other
the boys were the boys.
to be like, no, you're not going to put that credit on me. Well, we're going to fight over who's not going to get blamed.
No,
That's
Ben
what that would've
Stiller's
been.
Ben Stiller's name is still on. Hank Azaria's, William H. Macy's, Paul
So
Rubens.
they were there to begin
It's-
with,
it's-
and at higher points during their career.
no, Ben Stiller went on to much bigger things after that.
He wasn't a nobody. There were no nobodies in that movie. You even had Greg
Yeah, but he
Kinnear was in
wasn't what
that
he is
movie.
now. He was if that Mystery Men, I would argue, actively helped his career.
Dude, don't make that argument because you lose that argument with common sense.
I just did make that
Fucking
argument, and it's irrefutable.
Horrible,
Because like his
horrible movie,
career boon came after Mystery Men. Ergo, Mystery Men helped it. Checkmate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You have to be pretty knocked in the head to make that.
Checkmate. Okay.
Stupid ass movie, but yeah, it's a stupid ass movie, and it deserves its box office.
It's hilarious. It
deserves its fate
there is
in the
no
box
funnier
office.
CVM out there than Mystery Men.
It's not supposed to be funny.
There's
There's no more
oh,
dumber.
Tell
no
that to
more
Kevin Feige.
Dumber. He didn't make a Mystery Man,
No, he made a Thor: Love and Thunder,
which is like
which is not as good as Mystery Men.
Which is like the Godfather in seriousness, and when you compare,
No,
it to
the
Mystery
hell
Man.
it is.
Mystery Man is a joke.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna boot.
Anyway, getting
Joe,
back on topic, those are the two movies at the top of the
Yes.
chat.
Aaron gets it.
If you have to be
Aaron
in a cult.
absolutely gets it.
You have to be in a cult to consider it a classic.
Yeah.
100%.
It's called it's called classic. It's like, and it's like we're gonna bring William into
Whatever.
it. It's like he's
You're not going to bring.
he's still dealing. He's just process like the same thing with like Mortal Kombat. He has to process some of like the remorse of like bashing on this for so long.
I don't need any mental help to come to terms with what I think about that movie.
It's like see James Gunn. He is the crazy guy who would greenlight the Blue Raja origin story.
Nah.
He would absolutely
there would be some people that would step up and call him aside and say no.
West
and he
Stevie.
would have to get the money. He would have to get the money, and
that's
the
the one
money.
I want to see.
You're not going to get anybody to invest money into that bullshit.
The Sphinx. I want to see the origin story of the Sphinx.
Here you go. Here you go. This I purposely made this little image look stupid because of the movies that are on here.
Yeah,
I
managed to do this double feature. We do it for free. It's like
fuck
we
that.
should do. We
Absolutely
should do this for free.
fucking no.
Mystery
hey, running StreamYard, running all this shit ain't free. So no, fuck that.
It should be this time because it deserves to be. It's comedy classic.
Doesn't matter. It ain't happening for
comedy
free.
classic, and the other one is
if
Sister's
you
favorite
guys
from last year.
Your sister is
All
not
it
on
takes.
the stream.
All it takes.
I look forward to meeting your actual sister, but she's not on the stream.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
Yeah, okay. It's just creepy, dude. I am going to put the link into the chat here, and there you go. And that is the only way that this mixture of this just
of the comedy classic and the musical that capture the world's heart.
That didn't I'm part of the world, didn't capture me, so there you go.
Capture everybody else.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, like I said,
8 votes, 8 billion to 1 on that one.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't. As long as you click that link, I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah. I know we do a watch party of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, perhaps October. Yeah,
I know. We're doing 2 live shows. We're our cast. We reassembled our cast. I will be doing 2 live shows. I might even stream. What I might do is, if I have enough hands, I might stream our live show. Or I might stream our live show as we're doing it. We'll play Rocky Horror on our screen or on our whatever Twitch while we're streaming it, while we're doing the actual live cast.
So you're saying that we might do the time warp again?
Yeah, sure, man. Wow, dude. Anyway, I think that's a good point too. I'll wrap this up with I've been on the air for an hour and a half. I got to go get some food. I got to go talk to Cox Cable about my missing channels. And we will reconvene tomorrow. I'll come up with a topic show.
No, we're doing the
I'm sorry. No, never mind. See, this shit needs to be on Sunday. I don't like big. If this is a big show for you, HBO, Sunday is a statement. To me, putting it in the middle of the week, you don't need ratings. You get a cumulative of that. You don't need that. I know even why are you doing it at 9:00? It should be on now. We should be literally watching it now. I don't know. Fuck them. All right, guys. There you go. Like, subscribe, hit the donation button if you want to see these 2 awful movies. Wicked is not awful. It's just I'm not. It's not for me. Mystery Man is awful.
With the Blue Raja, the greatest hero there, and superhero history.
absolute bomb. Of a
I mean, the
movie.
dude. Who else can throw forks? Come on.
Who else would want to?
I
There's
do. I
nothing-
wanted.
who else-
That's awesome power.
It's been
It's
26
awesome power.
years.
And so is William H. Macy. Like he shovels well. He shovels very well.
Years of people thinking about this movie and being like,
I
"Nah,
guarantee.
we don't need no
guarantee-
more of that."
Guarantee.
We don't need
that movie comes out
none
10
of
years
that.
later. It's a
20
big. It does
bombs.
100 million
It
minimum.
bombs. There are people changing their name.
It's a William. He's going to let me take over because he's not making any sense right now.
You are arguing against history. You have had 20. You have had
it
over.
came out 10
You
years
have
too
had
early.
over a quarter of a century of people
Yeah, it
thinking
came
about
out
this
too early. That's what it is.
garbage
That's all
ass
that happened.
movie.
It came out a decade too early. It was ahead of its time. It was the boys of its time. And if it came out 10 years
I'm not
later,
the biggest. I'm not the top tier boys fan. But if you're my apologies to any boys fans that are watching this. That's my co-host just made an embarrassing comparison.
I made the most apt analogy.
That is
ever.
not an
It-
apt.
It is
You have
absolutely the boys of its
disrespected
time.
that show.
And it would have been the boys of
You
its
have
time. 10 years later and been
disrespected that
like
show.
deserved to be.
Now all the boys viewers are going to be like, "There's no reason to subscribe or watch our channel because the guy, the Brad dude, just is like on something."
I just stated something of empirical objective.
out of
reality.
pure fucking fantasy
Again,
between your ears.
came
is
out
what you
10
do.
years later.
Anyway,
and
hold
100
on,
more
hold on.
easy.
Here's the thing.
Easy.
This is what I need to start doing when you come up with this nonsense here.
The siren.
As
the
awful
siren
as
ring
that
building
sound
your
was,
nuclear bomb
as
with-
awful as that sound was,
it's
it
an
made
air raid.
more
You're getting the
sense.
nuke.
It made
truth
more
coming from me.
sense than this bonehead
Yeah.
comparing Mystery
Getting
Men,
nuked with truth.
a
Whenever I
dreck of a movie, to the boys.
there is no argument to be made that Mystery Man will and 100 million more.
All
if it
right,
came out 10
it's
years
time
later.
to go. Yeah.
None, zero, zip.
Yeah, exactly, Larry. There we go. That is a
That's
response.
that's the
That is a
perfect emoji.
response you
It's
should
the
give to
perfect
Brad
emoji
right
to-
now.
for Mystery Men watching.
The laughing emoji is what.
Perfect emoji. It's the perfect emoji for what anytime you see
All
Mystery
right.
Men.
Well, like I said, the official moniker of this show is not to take Mystery Men any seriously than the people who saw it in 1990 did. 1999 did, and guess what? Look at the math.
And guess
there.
what? It became a
All
cult classic and advanced the careers of everybody involved.
Sure,
Absolutely
Sure.
did.
sure. Dude, and you have the audacity to knock a scary movie
Yeah, because it's
in the same voice. In the same voice.
Yeah, because
If
that
you not
sucks
scary
and this is
movie,
hilarious.
You condone that Mystery Men.
In a
Goodbye,
heartbeat.
everybody. Goodbye.